Welcome everybody to my podcast, Big Little Small Talk. I'm Megan O'Hara-Sullivan and I love to talk, but I also love to listen. If you're new here, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome along to my segment called Big Little Small Talk, where I get to go out into the community and talk to people that I really enjoy and I think you will probably enjoy as listeners. Now today I've got a young man who is an incredible young man. I know I say that about a lot of my guests, but he really is. I see him everywhere I go. He's someone who's really embedded in the community and he's got a really interesting story to tell. Now, his name is Prince Longlow. Welcome along, Prince.
Hi, Megan. Thank you for inviting me to come along to your podcast. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm glad you agreed to be interviewed. So let's start with your name. Where do you get a name like Prince if it's not a symbol for an ageing rock star?
So I actually got this name when I was 1 year old. So my parents gave me this name. It's pretty typical, I would say it's quite Asian stereotype. They see their kid as prince, queen. It's like they want them to be successful, obviously. So that's why they give me this name. But technically, they didn't put this name on my passport or birth certificate. So technically, so-called now this name is a nickname for me.
Right.
So technically, my real name is still a Chinese name. So yeah. So
which is what?
Which is Long. So Long, it's my first name, my real first name. And then Prince is just a nickname, but everyone knows me Prince here. Since I moved to Australia, everyone knows me as Prince, so whatever, I'll just use Prince as my name.
So
yeah.
Can I ask, what are your sisters? Are they like Your Highness and Your Majesty?
My sister, actually, she's not liking her English name. So from a Chinese culture background, we often just give ourselves an English name. It is not really Chinese nickname. So her name was Happy. So she wasn't liking it. So that's why she just changed it over and just use her own Chinese name as Lok as her name, as English name. Yeah.
What a beautiful story.
Yeah,
so your parents called you Prince at one, and did they call her Happy, or did she choose Happy?
So the reason why her name is Happy is because it's about our Chinese name and Chinese name history. So her first name is Lok, which means that if you write it in Chinese, it's about happiness. And my name also has a happy vibe. It also has, I'm saying that my Chinese name has also have a very happy and very open meaning as well. So I guess my parents want both of us to be happy and enjoying our life. That's why they gave us this name. And yeah, so that's
how... They gave you the kind of the one-up, which
yeah.
is the Prince. I think that's
yes.
a pretty good, strong, and that's a destiny, isn't it? If you're called Prince, it's a pretty good way to start the world.
It is
I would think.
Yeah, you got the pressure from the parents, obviously. You want to be royalty or want to be successful. But yeah, it's a good start.
It's a good omen. I think it's a good omen.
Start, really.
Now, Prince, I mentioned that I see you everywhere I go. When was the last time we ran into each other?
I think last time we ran into each other is to Reclaim the Night.
And what you explained to the listeners
March.
What Reclaim the Night was. So we saw each other on Friday night. We gathered outside City Hall.
Yes. So I think it's an event organised by Domestic Violence Action Centre. It's about talking about women's rights as well as how to create a safe space for women. And I believe in the Toowoomba community as well. Plus also I work in the community sector as well. I hear traumatic experience from different women that I work as well, experiencing domestic violence situation, which is quite concerning. And I believe it's a good cause to take some action and march with the crew, with Domestic Violence Action Centre crew, and with you as well, to just show that there's people in the community care about women's rights and care about them and their welfare.
Because it was really interesting, wasn't it? And
yeah.
there wasn't so much on it only being women, and it was really heartening to see men there, but it was about people should be able to walk their streets and be safe. And so we're taking back the night. We should be able to walk around at night time and feel safe. And I don't know about you, but there wasn't a big lot of people, but we walked down Ruthven Street and then up Margaret Street and back down, and there was people along the footpath, and when they saw us coming, they stood up and clapped and shouted to us in a really positive way. So I was really heartened by that.
Yeah, same. I feel really heartened by that, and this is a really success for a moment, like you can see that the community that's actually supporting this good cause. So I think it's an amazing night.
Yeah. I know you like to support good causes, and we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about your work soon. But I want to go back to not so much your upbringing, because I do want to talk about that as well, and you mentioned your Asian culture. But tell me about what you studied to be doing the work that you're doing now, and what's the official title of your work?
So my official title of the work currently is a youth hub worker. I work in a not-for-profit organisation called Multicultural Australia. So we have offices across Brisbane, Logan, and as well as Toowoomba, obviously. And I base in the Toowoomba office mainly support the young people from a refugee and migrant background in order for them to successfully transit out from school, as well as finding them employment and education pathways, work experience, all these sort of things, as well as community connection. And that's probably the reason why I show myself in every event and secure in every opportunities, because actually not just about my self-improvement, but I can identify any opportunity for my students that will be good to get them connected in community. That will be amazing as well. Mm-hmm. So my study background is I got a bachelor degree in business, major in human resources management. I also got a bachelor degree in psychology.
So 2 degrees.
So I got 2 degrees, and I also got a master's in social work.
Oh, you're
so,
lazy.
I'm so
folks.
Lazy.
Can you hear?
Yeah,
how lazy he is.
So I spent around 6 years of studying, 3 degrees. I came here as an international student. So that's how I get involved in kind of... and my first job actually in Queensland and in Australia is actually doing a lot of student support work around building international students' career capabilities and also higher education student career capabilities as well. So basically provide them running events like build up their skills in terms of developing their career skills, like resume writing skills, cover letter skills, and interview, and improve their personal attributes, as well as like confidence in public speaking and in general dealing with employers. So I feel like that's how I find my niche, and I find myself as well, like as a person come from an international background as well, working with people that came from an international background. I feel like I'm very connected with their stories, as well as I know how, because I also been through my personal journey as coming from an international background. I know it's quite hard during that process to get connected in a community, to get myself out there in a community to be seen, and in order to just build up my skills and have an employment that's successful career.
So you obviously took to the study and you loved study, but just thinking and hearing you say, how do you get connected to the community? What's the one piece of advice you give to all these students, about building that confidence and capability, about feeling relaxed enough to, as I know I was just talking this morning at the markets to a young Syrian girl, and it's that that crossover, so mixing with people outside your comfort zone, I guess.
Yeah, so I feel like it's always around like finding a tool or finding a way that helps you. Like, thanks to my quite extrovert personality, I'm quite autonomously able to strike conversation with a person. But I know that I've seen students that are not very outgoing, not very extrovert person. I see that all the time as well. So I would advise them basically, hey, if you can tag along with a friend, go to these events or go to explore different opportunities with a friend that are more extrovert, and that will be a great idea.
So do you mean go to events that you would normally say as a young Asian student, say female, you would not normally go to a football match, or you wouldn't go, I'm just trying to make that connection between, and I'm not saying that the students should necessarily integrate if they don't want to, but it seems to be this expectation that you have to integrate or something,
You technically doesn't need to. Like it's not a necessary thing for you to integrate if you're very comfortable with your own space. I have no objection with like not integrating and stuff like that. But I feel like when I grow older and older, I see the value of how being integrated is important as well. So, for example, it helps you personally like improve your self-confidence and improving your own professional skills, personal and professional skills as well, when you're integrating with a wider community. And when you learn from other people, from their stories as well, like I feel that very inspired by meeting different people as well. So I can see the benefits here for integrating and for, I wouldn't say integrating, I can see the benefits for going out there and reach out to people and get to learn more about the community as well, learn to know other people as well. So I feel like that's very valuable for me as an individual. That's from my own perspective.
For sure. I think, and you said that you work for a company called Multicultural Australia, and I was looking on their website and it says, we try and foster an understanding and recognise the valuable contribution that new arrivals and migrants make to Queensland. And that's so true. You know, it's not a one-way street. We are not giving these migrants, we are giving them an opportunity and we're welcoming, but we are getting so much back in return. And I think that's, I guess, what people coming here need to know, that we are so grateful that we're here, not only for our economic prosperity, but for all of the cultural things that they bring to us. I always say that culture's more than eating dumplings at the Multicultural Festival. It's so much more than that. It's the understanding and the different values that people bring to our country. So.
Yeah. So I would say it's important that for you to go out and meet other people and talk about your own culture as well. So I am a huge advocate in owning yourself and owning your culture as well. So I'm proud of myself being an Asian as well. So I share my culture, I share my pride with other people about like, hey, how I feel about the world, how I think as well about the Chinese culture, about my name and my story. And I feel like migrants should not lost that part. Like they should be proud of themselves, where they come from and where their background is, and they should be proud of themselves that been through the journey and migrate in Australia and learn the Australian way, obviously.
Now, I'll just remind listeners that they're on 4DDB, Community Radio 102.7. We're in our segment called Big Little Small Talk, where we're talking to someone in the community, a valued member in the community. And today I'm talking to Prince Long Lo. Now, Prince, you mentioned your Asian heritage. So tell me, you are from Korea?
No, I'm from Hong Kong.
Oh, Hong Kong. I beg your pardon. So tell me how you came to be in Australia. Were you born in Hong Kong?
Yeah, I was born in Hong Kong, and I spent basically my not adult life. So like I basically zero age to age of 17, I spent my whole time in Hong Kong. So I grew up in New Territories, which is like a bigger territory close to China. So I lived in a quite rural regional area as well. So that's why I kind of feel like I'm more connected to the vibe in here in Toowoomba. What
were your parents doing in Hong Kong?
So my father is an engineer, and my elder sister is also an engineer, and my mum is just a housewife. She didn't work, and I am not an engineer, not a doctor, and not a lawyer. So, so I'm not sure whether my parents will be proud of me what I'm doing now.
Well, I was going to ask you. So you started to study. Did you study in Hong Kong, or you just?
So I studied high school in Hong Kong.
Okay. And you wanted to be an international student.
So and then I came as an international student.
So first year, and you started studying social work then, or
I started studying psychology and then business. And then I moved to do a master's in social work later.
So when you first came out here, what was your sort of plan as a 17-year-old Asian boy? What did you think? I'm going to do what? I'm going to be the HR guy for Facebook or something? Or when did you make that change then into the sort of the more humanities and start to then study social work?
That's a very interesting question, actually. I came to Australia when I was 18 years old. So I literally turned 18 for around 3 months before I moved to Australia. So if you're an international student under the age of 18, you need to have designated agreement with the university, and then you have a guardian as well as stuff like that. So I literally turned 18 3 months and before I came to Australia. So, and then technically I did not make the decision to come to Australia at the time, because when I was a 18-year-old boy, I finished high school. Basically, that's why I feel very connected when I work at the school community as well. So with a school student, they can be so lost, not sure what they do, what they want to do as well in their life. So my parents explore options for me to study overseas, and then they pick Australia and they pick Brisbane for me to study in Brisbane. And then basically at that time I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just go and just take my leap of faith to go and study there.
Right.
So still at this stage, I have no idea what I want to do, no clue as well. And then I resided to an accommodation place, and I actually have no idea where my uni is, where it is about. Like, I have no idea about Brisbane. I didn't do much research when I first came. So I just hop onto the plane with all my luggages, and then and then I just land in a place that I don't know where I am. So I got picked up by my accommodation provider to my accommodation places, and then and kind of like survivor mode kicks in, like, oh, you need to reach out to other people, ask, hey, where's my uni? How do I go to uni and stuff like that? So I started a university preparation course. I didn't go straight to university, so that's how I feel like get more connected with the migrant students here, because they need to do a university preparation course before they move to university as well. So, and then I study half a year university preparation course, and then I get into Queensland University of Technology, QUT at Brisbane. At that time, when I do my university preparation course, I was picked. The first preference for me, it's study Bachelor of Biomedical Science, because I want to be a doctor.
Med, yeah.
Yeah, I want to be a doctor moving forward. So biomedical science is the first step to become a doctor. And then after I finish my university preparation program, I changed my mind. I was like, I might want to do something in business. Once I finish university degree, I want to move back to Hong Kong as well. So I study a business course, and I also interested in psychology and how organizational psychology and all sort of stuff like that, and understand the human brain and the journey as well. So I just picked psychology. So that's how I picked as well. And then, yeah, I switched majors as well throughout the time. So that's one of the piece of advice I could give to young people, and if you're in university as well. So like, you can be unsure about what you want and what you want to do, and there's always people who can help you and you can reach out to and to talk about, like, navigate your pathway there.
Don't freak out if you're sort of thinking, I don't want to be something for the rest of my life. And so what about your parents? Were they freaking out a bit, saying, mate, you're chopping and changing?
No, they're quite supportive, and I really happy, and I really very thankful that they trust me, that I can survive well and can swim alone well in this foreign land. No, I call Australia home now, but technically previously it's foreign land. But yeah, so I'm very grateful that they're very supportive, and they're quite like, they trust me, I can be independent. And jumping back to like how I move on to social service and community service as well. So I feel like after I finish my psychology degree, I feel like very connected and fascinating about how people think and people thoughts, and I want to support the community in a very holistic way. So I pivot to study a master's in social work at the University of Queensland, and then got it here, and then I got a placement with Multicultural Australia in Toowoomba, and then I move up from there. So
how long ago was that?
It was around I came to Toowoomba around 2 years ago.
Okay. Is that all? 2 years ago?
That's all. 2 years ago.
You've made a big splash in your time here, friends.
It's just 2 years ago.
So I just see, too, when you were at QUT, that you were on something called the Student Advisory Panel for Study Queensland. So tell me about that.
So, as mentioned, I was quite passionate about international student welfare, international students' careers as well. So I got the opportunity from Study Queensland. So basically, you need to nominate yourself, saying that why do you think that you are a great advocate for international students, or great representation for international students in representing Queensland. And then basically you just write a submission saying that why do you believe that, and then get some support out. It's similar to a job interview.
Okay.
It's a board from Study Queensland. It's one of 3 boards that provide advice to the state government, Department Study Queensland, about their strategic direction on what sort of initiative they can create to create positive impact, I should say, on international student experience, career experience, and general stuff in advising them. So that board it's a student board. So basically it's using a student perspective and just basically tell the government, hey, this is what students want and this is what the student voice is about. So I'm fortunate enough to got into that board and representing students from Brisbane and Toowoomba, because I moved.
So you're still on that board now?
No, I finished that board term.
Okay.
I was in that board in 2019 to 2020.
Okay. And I wanted to ask you, Prince, when you were talking about your work before, working for Multicultural Australia, you're not just dealing with students, are you? You know, you're dealing with people who are working out in the community, working in cafes. They're boilermakers. They're working at the foundry. The abattoirs. There, is that right? People are able to connect with Multicultural Australia.
So basically, our office service is open to basically every migrant. Obviously, we deliver support services for designated refugees and international students, but we're always happy to help others. Help other migrants to get connected as well, and we also deliver service for them. If not under the benchmark, we'll help you to link them with other service providers as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you think, Toowoomba is known as a refugee welcome zone? What's the sort of word on the street? Are we sort of doing a good job, or could we do better, or what do you think?
I think right now, from what I see, it's definitely opened up and more acceptance from the community. I can see the opinion towards targets migrants and refugees. Because I only been here for quite a short time, like 2 years, not a very long time. So I didn't, and I'm pretty sure the refugee welcome zone is a start from 2013. So I can see from the interaction with the wider community as well, I can see that people are very open to listen to refugees and migrant stories, and they do a lot of initiative in supporting them as well. And as a community who support refugees and migrants as well, Service Provider works collaboratively together to support the particular cohort as well. So I feel like we did a really good job and we should be proud of what we do right now. Obviously, there will be still room of improvement, as well as, like, for example, like when I connected with businesses and stuff like that, probably businesses need to be more open in accepting people with refugees and migrant background into work, or giving them an opportunity just like for a work experience, for work trial. So that would be very valuable for both sides as well, for the business to see, hey, this is a different skill set, there can be a different talent identified from the migrant itself, but also giving an opportunity for the migrant to experience Australian workforce and Australian workforce culture is very valuable for both sides.
Yeah, that's such a great piece of advice. I suppose I was thinking more in your neighbourhood. You know, you walk down the street now, and the face of Toowoomba is so different to, say, how it was 10 years ago. We've got this incredible diversity, but, you know, I guess people moving in to your neighbourhood, make them feel welcome. Yeah. Go and say g'day, and
yeah. I've heard that a lot of people are doing that, and they create a very welcoming vibe towards migrants and other people from a non-Australian background. So, and then we always love food. Like, food is a common share culture. Yeah. So, and always when I do home visits as well, like, when I finish the food on my plate, they will all automatically give you another piece of food. So basically, yeah, you just keep your plate filling, and then, so I think it's a great idea, like doing some food sharing with neighbours, and the migrants community as well. They're very welcome, very open to share their food, their own culture as well. Yeah. And food is obviously a big part of the culture. It's only one part of the culture, but it's also a good start. Because,
automatically, that's right. It's just such a lovely piece of advice, because automatically we would say, I'll come over and have a drink or something. But, you know, a lot of migrant and a lot of people don't drink. So it's just such a beautiful thought, the idea of come over and share some food together. Well, you're obviously not porking out because of all the eating. You're as thin as the whip, I'll just tell the listeners. He looks about 18, and he couldn't have done as much as he's done and be 18. I'll just tell you a cute little story. When we first came to Toowoomba with our boys, our children went to St Anthony's, and they had never seen really dark people before, and there's a lot of Sudanese kids at St Anthony's. And I remember our kids couldn't quite say Sudanese, and they used to call them the souvenirs.
Souvenirs.
So that's a mix-up with the language. But I'll just remind the listeners that they're on 40dB, 102.7 FM. We're on community radio, and we're in our big little small talk segment where we're talking to someone in the community. And today we're talking to Prince Longlow, and he's telling me about all his community work. So he's a perfect example of a good interviewee. Now, what I want to talk to you about, though, is you're a former director at QUT at the Dance Society. Is that correct?
Yes.
Tell me about the Dance Society.
It was a quite fun experience. So going back to the journey when I started QUT. So basically, as you can see, I'm quite an extrovert, but when I first start, obviously, the settlement journey starts from like this. So basically, you start with very daunting experience and not sure what to do. So I feel like in the first 2 years of my life when I was in Australia, it was still very daunting, don't know what to do. And in my first year of study, basically, I was like, I just go to uni and then sit on class and come home. And I feel like very stressed out, and I feel very like not very... You spend my time here in Australia. Not having fun and not spend my time well in Australia. I feel like if my parents sent me to Australia, they want me to experience Australia life, and they want me to throw myself out there and get connected. Right.
And you didn't feel like they wanted you to knuckle down and just do well. You felt that they wanted you to get the most out of it. Yeah, get the most out of it. And I feel like as well, my parents give me spent so much money to send me overseas. They want me to get myself out there and experience life in Australia. So in my second year, I start with my strength, which is dancing. So I start learn how to dance when I was 6 years old. So my parents
put me to start dancing when I was very young.
What type of dancing were you doing?
So in around 6 years old, like school normally runs different like cultural classes and stuff like that. So I start to learn Chinese dancing, and I'm the only boy.
Oh,
I'm the
surprise!
only boy.
You're the only boy.
I'm the
right?
only boy in every sort of different dance class there. And my parents saying, "Hey, Prince, you go to dance, and you will feel like very special because you're the only boy there." I was like, "Okay, yeah."
Get all the male
and I feel
parts, yeah.
and I feel like that's quite cool. And
One
then
of one, yeah.
and after like. Close to the end of primary school, so I started to get involved in other dance style as well, like hip hop styles as well as like Latin dance style, ballroom dance style. So I used to compete Latin dance back home in Hong Kong, and also compete ballroom dance in Hong Kong when I was quite young. And then so that's why I feel like dancing is kind of my strength as well. So and then during high school time, I just put highly focus on study and didn't do much dancing. So I feel like, hey, this is my strength. This is something that I could start with, and I can talk about my experience. I can talk about that with other people who have shared the same interests. That's why I started to join the club.
So you looked it up, and QUT had a dance club, did it?
Yeah, QUT had a dance club. So basically, I start joining the dance club as a member, and I'm very active in there. And then when they start to run again as an AGM and run again the club again, I just put my hand. Yeah, I just put my hand and get on the board, and then get on, and then I start with as a secretary, and then move up to become director and president of the club. So,
the club. So what sort of dancing are they? They're just doing all types, are they?
Yeah, they do.
Not too much ballroom, I wouldn't imagine.
No, they're doing all these sort of types. So I used to run. So basically, we bring in dance students from QUT to teach them as well. So I teach as well. So as well as bringing professional teachers come here to teach classes as well. So I remember that was quite a long time ago. I remember like every Tuesday and Thursday we run classes nighttime around like 5 to 6:30 and 6:30 to 8:30, something like that. So it's like basically every week from week 1 of university term to around week 9 of university term. Right. So it was fun, and then the styles interchanging, and then they also have choreography sessions like 3. So basically they have 3 sessions, like for example 3 Thursdays consecutively we'll have a choreography, like hip hop choreography, and then QUT student engagement team will invite us to do performance for their annual events, like East West Festival, like Dragon Boat Festival and stuff like that. They will have a stage. They will invite us to perform. So
it was mostly Asian stuff, or not? And mostly Asian kids? No.
No, it's a mix of it's a mix of everyone. So we open doors for everyone, and it's actually a lot mainstream Australian students as well. So so we have different styles. I mentioned we have Latin, we have Latin choreography, we have like hip hop dance, we have like all sort of different stuff. We have ballet, contemporary, and everything. So basically, we run different styles. So that's the purpose of it. We want everyone to come and join and come and learn. For beginners, intermediates, and everyone. So
you really took this dance group. Like, was that the most successful that the QUT dance? When I was at QUT, I did not know that there was a dance group there. I have to say,
Yeah. So I think they'd start the club. I'm the 3rd president of the club. So they started a couple of years before me step in as a president.
Yeah.
And I think so far I'm still the only guy president. I'm the only male president so far. Because I'm still following them on the social media and stuff like that. They're still doing great stuff. They're still doing amazing stuff, and still interacting with a lot of students and still doing a lot of performance. It's amazing. Yeah.
So tell me about K-pop. What's the phenomena of K-pop? What does that all mean for an old person like me? Tell me about K-pop.
K-pop. Can't say that I'm the expert of it, but I listen to a bit of K-pop.
It's a style of music.
It's a style of music, and that sort of music is very having a very pop style of music.
Does it stand for Korean pop?
K-pop stands for Korean pop music. Right. So it's a style of music, but a lot of Korean pop music have choreography built in as well. So a lot of the times that they have the dance with the music. So and then it went viral all over the internet because of how good some of the dances they do and the performance they do on stage, and basically in a national level as well. So I know, I'm quite familiar with a couple of groups that are obviously on TV that make a very very viral thing.
And is there sort of something that you could say K-pop is mostly about love songs, or is it, techno, or is it about the dancing? It's just all of that, is it?
I feel like it's about a mix of everything, but I feel like it's about dancing.
Yeah.
It's about dancing, and some songs, they obviously have meanings about some songs.
Yeah.
But technically it's more like about dancing and sharing the good vibes as well
Okay.
as, yeah.
Right. So Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style.
Is that K-pop?
Gangnam Style is K-pop, yeah.
Well, the reason I'm so fascinated by it, I met a guy the other day in Toowoomba from the Beamish brothers, Jeremy Beamish, who he and his brother are songwriters, and they are now at the moment writing songs, K-pop songs. And I think, how do you get into the mindset of being a K-pop writer? I just found it fascinating, that someone can write songs, but I suppose that's the craft of writing songs,
Yeah, it's
isn't
craft
it?
for writing songs. I'm not very good at any artistical stuff, but
Right.
I feel like it's about the melody, it's about the pop and the style of it, how to
Okay.
write it, and then I think I can't say I'm correct or wrong. Like, I think they put the lyrics after.
Okay.
They write up the melody.
All
I
right.
think.
We might have to ask Paddy, our host, to go and find a K-pop song and play it for us later on.
Yeah.
But what I am interested in too, Prince, is so we're in the dance club, we're on the Students Study Queensland board. What about anything else? Are you in any other clubs when you're at QUT and here at the moment? Anything like badminton or anything like that?
Oh yeah. So when I start.
See, I can stalk your Facebook
You
page
stop
as
with
good as
Facebook
everyone.
page, got everything. Oh gosh. So when I moved to Toowoomba, so obviously moving from Brisbane to Toowoomba is quite a new place here. So similar experience when I moved from Hong Kong to Australia. Still very new place to me. So, but I choose the opportunity to pick it to stay on a university student college. So I met a lot of friends there, and how I get to know people from university. Still got friends there, and it's amazing. And I also get quite along with the university USQ badminton group. And they're very welcoming, very amazing. So they invited people that not even study in USQ, which is me, and not even a student.
And not even be able to play badminton.
Not
or
even
how's
able
your
to play.
badminton?
My badminton skills are all right. Yeah, it's
not
okay.
too bad,
Yeah,
getting better,
they
yeah.
teach. They are very welcoming, and they teach beginners as well. So it's amazing that they create such a very welcome on the club as well. So, and for me to engage with them, so I play with them regularly. They're good friends of mine. So it's very good to get into know them as well as
Yeah, so that's
engage
another
with
group.
them.
So are there any other groups that you're a part of? Thursday night I play bridge, Friday night I play badminton, anything like that? Nothing?
That's a great question.
What other groups are you in, or clubs or anything?
Clubs I'm in. So I play badminton regularly on at St. Ursula's. It's a Toowoomba badminton group, but also with the US2 badminton group team, and every Tuesday and Thursday. So sometimes I will go for gymnastics.
Oh.
So on Thursday, it's on Thursday nights as well. We'll go for gymnastics on Thursday night. So it's a great way. I feel like I'm a more active person. I just want to get out there and do a lot of sports and stuff like that. So yeah, I used to practice gymnastics when I was young as well. So that's why it's good to pick it up sometimes. Yeah.
You are really giving it a red hot go, aren't you? Yeah, everything. Just have a go.
Just have a go. Yeah, try and have a go.
Throw
Yeah.
yourself into it. Yeah. What about I know, as I said before, that you're everywhere. You do everything, every march, every event, you were out yesterday at the Postle Flash. Tell me about that.
So it was a very fun day. So
Where was it?
It was at Club Pittsworth. So I got invited by Councillor Jeff McDonald's saying that, do you want to come along and just check out what's happening in there, what's fun in there. Mm-hmm. So, I can see a lot of local students, or I should say local people, local great athletes. They're racing, as well as great fun time to engage with the local community, as well as there's kids there just playing, and I was sprinting with the kids.
So it's the Crimson Flash, named after Arthur Postle. I think I've got that right. Is that right? And he was the fastest. You're not sure, I'm not sure. We should be better up on the details.
Yeah.
But it's a new event into the Toowoomba region, and I think it's one of the really great up and coming events, isn't it? It's terrific. Yeah. So you were there most of the day. You got a storm come through there.
Yeah, I got a storm come through there, and then hit us quite hard. But after 15 minutes, the sun goes back up, and then keep going.
Keep going. And
Keep
then
going.
And the track would have been rated as,
Yeah.
as wet then.
And wet there, but it's still racing.
They're
so
still racing.
yeah.
Did you have a race yourself?
Yeah, I have a race myself.
Oh, how'd you go?
So in the middle of interim, like Councillor Jeff invited me to just race with some of the younger kids. So it's just like a short race, back and forth, like a relay, back and forth. It was.
And are you
fun.
terribly competitive? Did you let them win, or
Yeah,
were you tripping them over or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm terribly competitive. Yeah, no. So basically, they have like he puts like 7 kids. So with 7 kids and 1 adult in each team. So I'm the adult on the team. So I'm racing technically against the other adult. So that's how I can be competitive because
I see, right.
I'm racing against the adult. But if I'm racing against the kids, then probably not.
Right.
I'll just be like
Yeah.
running a bit slow. Probably.
All right. They might have beaten you. It's a hard thing to give in to kids sometimes, isn't it? Don't let the kids win. That's a quite famous song. What about the Luminance Festival? What's the Luminance Festival? Can you remember?
The Luminous Lantern Parade.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a signature event organised by my organisation every single year. So we have 2 biggest events actually every year within my organisation: the Luminous Lantern Parade, but also the Mosaic Festival, which actually happens earlier this month actually. So the Luminous Lantern Parade is basically the signature event. We walk together in South Bank Parklands, share multiculturalism, and we invited different groups to build lanterns here. So lanterns can be representing hopes and future. So we walk together, we have our lanterns up, and then just share that hope for the future as well as share multiculturalism together.
Sounds beautiful. And what's the other event that you started to
So
talk about?
it's the Mosaic Festival.
Yeah.
So it's happening every year around October. So this year we start with a citizenship ceremony there. So basically we invite the ministers and people in Council in Brisbane to just witness at the first part of the citizenship ceremony. And we just basically have a couple of stages and basically invited people from different cultural background to come to perform their own songs and their own choreography and basically sharing their own culture. And obviously it's a big festival in Roma Street Parklands, and they all have different food stores around. As I mentioned, food is the good way to start and get connected.
The unifier,
so it's a great unifier.
Yeah.
So it was a great day, and I basically coordinate a bus to bring around 69 students from Toowoomba State High and Harristown State High from a migrant background to just come down to Brisbane and experience different culture as well. So,
how fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that. I'd like to go next year and see. I'll just remind the listeners that we're on 4DDB with a community radio station, 102.7 FM, and we're interviewing Prince Long Low for our Big Little Small Talk segment. And we're up to the part of the interview, Prince, where I ask you a couple of left field questions. You know, they come from anywhere and everywhere. So, as I said, I did stalk your Facebook page. I had to find out some information, and you don't mind a selfie. So tell me, what's the best thing about taking a selfie? I
feel like photos or selfie, it's a remarkable way to remember what I have done in the community. So, like, considering like if I'm going older, if I'm 70 years old, if I'm 70 or 80 years old, it's a great memory to remember what I've been doing and what I've done and how do I support the community. It's not about my own pride, but about like how and reflecting on my life of what impact that I've created as well and how much support that I receive from the community as well. And it's a very heartwarming thing to look at it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. And it's a good way of sort of breaking the ice with people too. You might, you really admire someone, but you can go up and say, do you mind if I take a selfie?
Yeah, do I mind if I take a selfie or a photo?
What's your sort of most proud selfie that you've taken, or someone that you really admired, then you were able to get their picture? Can you think?
Oh, that's a good question. I never thought of that question. So,
what about celebrity people or people involved in your work or anything like that, ministers or anything that you're...
Not involved in my work.
Well, I'll leave that one with you.
Leave that one with me.
Yeah, because my next question is, what's your favourite celebrity scandal? Do you have a...
Celebrity scandal? No, not particularly.
Well, I'll give you time to think about it because as I was writing that question out, you know the royals like Princess Diana and Fergie and that. Well, I'm obsessed with the royals. I think the listeners probably know it's my guilty pleasure. So I spend most of my time on Instagram looking at, you know, the royals, babies particularly, and their weddings. You know, Princess Margaret's wedding from 1958 or something or other, and dresses, and you know, it's really just such a time waster. I can't believe I do it. But I think I started to get addicted to it in the 80s, I think, when Fergie was in the toe-sucking scandal. Do you remember anything about that? So this was when the paparazzi really started to hone in on the celebrities, and she was with some fellow, I can't remember his name, not her husband, obviously, and they were at some resort, and this fellow was sucking her toes. Well, it was just like the most embarrassing sort of, sort of imagine having your face splashed across the front of the then magazines with someone sucking your toes. Just very embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing.
So you don't really get into the meanness of the
really
celebrity scandal?
I don't really get into the mean of celebrity scandals, but I'm more like, as a quite open person as well, I feel like I see things in a lens that very positive way as well. So I feel like, not very can't think of it on top of my head right now. So it's quite positive in seeing things and viewing things in life as well.
Do you admire sort of pop singers and, you know, that sort of thing? Are you watching them all on YouTube like my kids?
I'm watching them on YouTube, but it's more like a loop. So basically, like, you just play songs around the loop. I didn't have a famous celebrity or something like that, but I do have some of my celebrity that write good songs. And
you're probably watching TED Talks on how to be a great motivational person in the community or something.
Indeed,
yes.
Indeed.
Because that's because you've got a very pure and good heart, rather than
I watch a lot of podcasts. I watch a lot of Simon Sinek. So talk about like how to start with your why and all sort of stuff like that. It's quite nice. Yeah,
that's fantastic, because my kids are watching things like the shoe polishing videos, you know, or the hair brushing videos. You know, they'll tell you the weirdest things that you can see on YouTube, but they're watching someone polish their shoes and get them really, really shiny. I know. Is that weird?
I think it sounds a bit weird.
It is. Okay, now I did ask you to prepare something for me, because this is, after all, a radio program and we play songs, and I want to know, what is a song that says something about you?
So I think the song says something about me. It's How Far It Will Go.
How Far It Will Go. Write that down, yeah?
So it's a Disney theme song. So the movie related to it's Moana.
Oh.
So, it is a Disney theme song. I feel like it really resonates with me because, like, the movies actually talk about, like, Moana is actually going out to representing their own community and their own culture to explore what's happening and trying to save their own community as well. So I feel like
you're like a saint.
No, not really. Not really. It's resonant in me because, like, at some point she got lost. She's very lost about her identity, as also, like, she was quite confused of what she can do and how far she can go. So that song really resonated with me because I feel like we share quite similar experience. That I came from a different background and I kind of exploring myself in this land right now, and hopefully that people see that I'm achieving something and having a great contribution to the community.
That is a lovely story, right? Do you put it on when you're going to go for a run on the running machine? It pumps you up, does it?
It pumps me up,
That's
definitely.
Great. So what about then the song that can't keep you off the dance floor? If you hear it come on, you're a dancing man.
Yeah, I'm a dancing man.
Yeah.
Can't keep me up is Uptown Funk from Bruno Mars.
Yes, I love that. That's one of my
favourite
too.
Yeah, so I also like Bruno Mars as a singer as well. He has a beautiful voice and he's a great singer, but also a great artist as well. So I love him.
Yeah. What's the line from Uptown Funk? Here's the cup. Put some liquor in it.
Take a sip, sign a check.
Oh,
yeah.
You're terrific.
Yeah.
Well, you and I are going to dance to that when we see each other out somewhere. So, Prince, I'm going to finish off. What's the future look like? What's the ideal thing? Where would you love to be sort of in 20 years in terms of work, family? Do you picture yourself going back to Hong Kong or staying here?
No, there's obviously a lot of possibilities for me. And I understand there's a lot of possibilities for me as well. So I won't restrict it to any opportunities. If I have opportunities to go back to Hong Kong, I will. But at this stage, I still call Toowoomba my home, and I still call Australia my home, because I feel like I have deeply connected with the community here, and it really resonate myself with the values and with what I'm doing here. So in 20 years, who knows, really? Like,
Right.
I really don't know what I could do. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. And I don't want to sort of go out on a downer, but just talking about Hong Kong, are a lot of your friends involved in the activism there with the politics, and what is life like there at the moment?
Yeah, life like there, it's a bit difficult. It's not just about activism, but also it's about like pandemic as well. The situation is quite different in there. There's obviously a power shift in Hong Kong situation. I'm observed like very closely, so I'm obviously concerned about the issues down there as well. But really, I feel like peaceful dialogue is really the way that to resolve the issue. It's like I feel like both sides should hear different perspective quite clearly, and this is a way that we move forward together as a community, but also as country, as how it sees as well.
Sage advice from someone so young. Well, Prince, that brings our interview to a close, but I know that your future is bright. I can feel it. I'm sure the listeners can feel it too, because you've just got such a good, kind heart and a lovely disposition that you couldn't help but fulfil the name that your parents gave to you.
Thank you.
Prince Long Low. And your sister, Happy?
She
She
hates that name. She hates that name, so yeah. Hopefully she didn't listen to that.
You got a little bit of Happy. But thank you so much. It's been a joy to talk to you today, Prince.
Thanks so much, Megan.
Yeah,
appreciate that. Thanks
you.
for inviting me.
That's it for this week. Thanks for joining me on Big Little Small Talk. I hope you can make the time to join me next week. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favourite podcast app.